Oh, welcome everybody to the Lancer Classic. Dan Vitt alongside Mike McCracken. Glad to bring you tonight's Richie's Pharmacy pregame show, where tonight our Lady Indians take on the Lady Vikings from Parsons in this second round game. The Lady Indians are in the second round game by a win against Columbus. Let me see, that would have been Wednesday night, I believe.
Yep,
Mike,
on Wednesday.
Friday. Yep, Wednesday night. We're all messed up with the weather delay this week, but we finally started playing basketball here Wednesday, so the boys and girls play tonight. St. Paul boys lost last night to Parsons, but they'll play at 5:30 in Columbus in the other gym, so bear with us. After this girls game, we're going to have to pick up and try to get moved to the other gym and pick back up on the live stream and get back up on the 105.5 on the radio station. And what we will do is just as soon as this game is complete, we won't have a post-game show. We'll go ahead and pick up and move, and if we have time before the boys' game, we'll have our post-game show once we get set back up before the boys' game in the other gym. So if you're not confused after all of that, then you're not any more confused than Mike and I. Stay tuned. We'll get through it. But tonight, Lady Indians got a tough matchup against Parsons. Parsons here by way of a victory against Baxter Springs. They played last night, so back-to-back games for Parsons. And regardless, the boys and girls, whether they win or lose, will play tomorrow. Times to be, the Indian boys will play at either 1:30 or 2:30, depending on how they do here in the next game. And the girls will play either at 3 or 6 tomorrow night. So we'll see how that goes and see if we have any conflicts with the girls and the boys after tonight is over with. So stay tuned. Look for a good game here tonight. Parsons, very young team. No seniors on the squad. The Indians with 3 seniors on the squad. We played Parsons. I don't know if it was last year in the Lancer tournament or the year before, but the Indians got a nice victory against Parsons. That really has no relevance on tonight's game. Parsons just a couple losses on the year. The Lady Indians just 1 loss on the year, overtime to Galena. So well tested is the Indian squad. Nice victory over Frontenac last Friday night. A good victory against Columbus to open around here, Mike.
Yeah, they're having a pretty good tournament so far, and that's kind of holding true to tradition. They've always seemed to do pretty well, the Lady Indians have, when they've come to this Lancer Classic here at Southeast. I know the kids like to play in it. If they have a good time, there's a lot of teams here that they don't get to see very often, but it's become a pretty good rivalry with some of them. I know, like you mentioned, they played Parsons last year and always seem to meet up with Columbus, it seems like, down here at this tournament. And so they've developed, a little bit of a knowledge of each other through just playing each year in the tournament. But each year it's a different team. You mentioned the fact that Parsons has no seniors this year on the team. That doesn't necessarily mean anything because they seem to be pretty strong for the most part, usually, especially on the girls' side. Well, last night on the boys' side, it was pretty obvious they have a pretty strong boys' team. Boys struggled here a little bit. St. Paul boys did, had trouble making some baskets. And we'll talk about that more when we get over to the boys' side. But it should be a good matchup tonight with these Lady Vikings against the Lady Indians.
St. Paul comes in. The Lady Indians come in as the number 1 seed in this Lancer Classic with just the 1 loss on the year. As I said, they played the 8-seeded Columbus, beat them 58-34 Wednesday night. Number 4-seeded Parsons beat Baxter Springs last night, so Parsons advances to this game against St. Paul, and Baxter is going to play Columbus. Well, matter of fact, it's going to be right now in the other gym. On the bottom half of the bracket, Jayhawk Lynn, the number 2 seed, got around Southeast. That game was played Wednesday night. And Pierce City, the 6th seed, got around a 3-seeded Erie. So Pierce City moves to the winner side of the bracket, and they will play Jayhawk Lynn at 7 o'clock tonight. Southeast and Erie will play in the West Gym at 7 o'clock after our boys game over there. So action-packed night here in Cherokee, Kansas. If you want to see some good basketball, girls and boys, 2 gyms going on at once, you can't beat it. Just show up and you'll have a good time watching a lot of good basketball here at Cherokee, Kansas in this Lancer Classic.
Yeah, I want to give some credit to the tournament director here for Southeast. He has got his hands full. He's running around here for the last 2 or 3 days while we've been here. We've seen him, and he has just been all over the place trying to keep things organized and trying to make do with a couple of weather days that he had to reschedule some games and move times around, get teams ready to play when they're supposed to be here and make sure the schedules are out. He's done a great job, and so a lot of credit to them. They run a pretty good tournament down here in Southeast every year.
I want to make sure everybody knows that we are streaming live, so if you're at home, can't make the game, early game or late game today, just get on a 105.5.net website, KKOY website, click on the St. Paul Indian banner, and it should take you right to the YouTube. Click on it, should say live stream. going on. I think we're up and running, so it should say live stream on there now, and just click on it. And it's a little bit of a delay, so don't try to listen to the radio and watch on the live stream at the same time. Listen to the audio in the live stream.
Yeah, I believe the website's hot1055.net. I think you got to put hot in front of it.
Hot1055.net. I always just put in 105.5
it'll find
radio
it.
station,
Yep,
and
it'll
Google finds it for me, but I'm not near as tech savvy as most. So anyway, if you want to stream live, that's available to you. And we're going to take another short break. There's about 1:40 until tip-off, so we're going to take a 1-minute break. I want to thank everybody for listening to our Richie's Pharmacy pregame show. We'll be back after this 1-minute break. You're listening to St. Paul Indian Basketball on Hot 105.
Yes, it says on air.
I'd like to welcome everyone to tonight's opening game for the St. Paul Indians.
Hey, welcome back, and we're going to go ahead, go back to a 1-minute commercial. The national anthem's getting ready to happen, so we'll be back after this 1-minute break. Listen to St. Paul Basketball on Hot 105.
Okay. I'll work on it if I can.
Check on your... welcome back, and Black gets ready to throw the ball up in the air for the tip-off. 8 minutes on the clock, and we are underway as O'Brien controls the tip for the Lady Indians. Rice with the basketball. Skip pass over to O'Brien at right wing. Couple ball fakes up top to Taylor. Watrick over to Rice, left wing. Zone defense, 2-3 zone applied by the Vikings of Parsons. Cross-court pass over to Watrick. Bounce pass inside to Winter. Winter tries to make some room. Left-hand left, good. Good job by Emily Winter to get the score off the left block. Good start for the Indians. They lead 2-0. Right wing over to Hicks. Back up top to Taylor. They swinging around, moving it quick. Hicks back to Taylor at right wing. Man-to-man defense applied by the Lady Indians. Back up top to Kroll. And she feeds it back out to Hicks. Over to the left wing to Cornell. Excuse me, I must have had the wrong starter in this. Cornell, or no, that's McGlory. Excuse me, number 20. And Cornell is in the game. Number 23. So Cornell over to Kroll. Kroll at left wing guarded by Winter. Vikings being very patient. Over to Hicks at the top of the key. As they run their motion, Hicks picks up her dribble in a little bit of trouble. Now feeds it out. Now a steal by Winter. Winter on the breakaway. Only Kroll down there. Left-hand layup. Good. Emily Winter off to a good start for the Indians. She gives the Indians a 4-0 lead. Hicks at right wing with the basketball up top. Swings it over to the left to Kroll. Kroll over to Cornell, almost a steal by Wattrick as she had her hand in the passing lane. Cornell crossover dribble, step back, thought about the three. As number 3, Taylor, goes to the basket hard, and she's going to be fouled by O'Brien. She's going to go to the line to shoot 2. Nina Taylor, the 5'9" junior, with a good hard move to the basket. It's the first foul on Caitlin O'Brien, first team foul on either team. Taylor at the free throw line, and she makes the first. As she settles in here for the second shot. And it's on its way and long, off the rim, no good. Winter with the rebound for the Lady Indians. Feeds it back to Rice. 6:06 left to go in the first. 4-1 lead for the Indians. Out to Wattrick at left wing. Cross-court pass over to Hutcherson. Hutcherson surveys the field. Kicks it up top to O'Brien. Head to Rice. Rice holds the ball at left wing. Crosses over. Starts into the lane. Bounce pass back out to Wattrick. Cross-court to Hutcherson at right wing now. Cross-court back to Rice, and she loses it for a second. Recovers. Clear across to Wattrick as they reverse it. Looking inside the Winter. She's double-teamed in that 2-3 zone. Wattrick picks up her dribble, feeds it out top to Rice. So the Indians being very patient on this 2-3 zone. They're going to have to hit some outside shots. Good pass to Winter inside. Wattrick comes out there with it. Step back three-pointer by Wattrick, left wing long. But Emily Hutcherson with the rebound. Put back no good. Rebound Winter. Put back no good. Rebound Caitlin O'Brien tied up by Kroll, and that'll go to the Vikings on the possession arrow. So 3 good looks by the Indians. Couldn't get it to go, but they're working hard on the boards. 4-1. Indians lead by 3. 5:12 left to go here in the first. Kroll at left wing with the basketball. Feeds it out top to Hicks. Hicks guarded by Hutcherson. Now out to Taylor. Screen set by Cornell. Taylor towards the basket. Kicks it out. Three-pointer from the right wing. Way long by the Vikings. Rebound O'Brien. She feeds it ahead to Rice. Rice all the way to the basket. Layup no good. Thought she was fouled. And the Indians trying to get back on defense, and O'Brien hustled back, tips it out of bounds. Good hustle by her because a good feed ahead to McGlory on the breakaway. Tipped out of bounds, and it's going to be out on the Vikings. Thank goodness. I think we got a little bit of a break there.
Yeah.
Out on the Vikings, so it'll stay with the Lady Indians. Now a little press, a little 2-3 zone press applied by the Vikings. Wattrick crosses half court above the timeline, feeds it back up top to Rice. They stay up ahead of that. High post could possibly be open in the future. Cross court pass to Wattrick, bounce pass inside to Winter. Winter in traffic, kicks it back out to Wattrick. She resets the offense, kicks it over to Hutcherson. Hutcherson to Rice. Rice, three-point shot, left wing, good! Sydney Rice buries a 3. The Vikings right back down with it. Cornell with the basketball. Wattrick's on her, tries to dribble between her legs, gets it tied up. Now to Hicks. Now over to Kroll. Back to Hicks. Ball's loose on the ground for a miss. Cornell back to Kroll. Now over to Taylor. Or that's Cornell, excuse me. Back up top to Taylor. She's guarded by Sydney Rice. Back to Cornell. No subs by either team yet in this game. Screen set. Cornell goes into the rim, tries a bounce pass inside to Kroll. It's going to be knocked out by Emily Hutcherson. Now Coombs and McCracken come in for the Indians for Hutcherson and Winter. Winter with 4 points and Rice with 3. Indians lead 7-1. Cornell with the basketball. Feeds it over to Taylor. Taylor tries to drive that baseline almost on the line. Shot by Kroll, no good. Rebound, Caitlin O'Brien. She feeds it ahead to McCracken. And McCracken all the way to the rim. She's going to be fouled as she went hard. She's going to be fouled by Hicks. First team foul on the Vikings. First on Hicks. Winter comes right back to the scores table as Sydney McCracken goes the line to shoot 2. as well as for the Vikings, number 14, Bador, the 5'10 junior, comes into the game for the Vikings as McCracken makes her first free throw, gives the Indians an 8-1 lead, 3:20 left to go in the first. McCracken settles in for her second. It's on its way right through there and good. Sydney McCracken coming off a good shooting game last night. Couple threes for her last night. In the corner, wide open three, off the back iron, no good. Rice with the rebound. She hustles down the court all the way, loses it on the ground, got called for double dribble. She was streaking down the floor and couldn't quite get the handle on it. So a rare turnover on Rice, gives it back to the Vikings. Cornell with the basketball as Coach Kroll calls out an offensive play for the Vikings. Feeds it over to Bador. Bador drives towards the baseline, guarded by McCracken, up tight on her. Feeds it back, Taylor to the rim. She gets tied up, should be a travel. Yes, it is a travel. Good help defense by the Lady Indians. Causes a travel by Taylor as the Indians. It's going to be a timeout by Kroll, full timeout. We'll be back after this 1 minute timeout. You're listening to St. Paul basketball on Hot 105.
How's it now, Marissa? Is it up? Okay.
Well, I want to thank everybody for joining us live on the live stream. Dan Bidd alongside Mike McCracken. Lady Indians lead 9-1 here in the first quarter. .243 left to go in the first. Indians lead 9-1. St. Paul with the basketball out of the Viking timeout. That's going to be a walk on Rice. The Indians turn the basketball over. Taylor feeds into Cornell. Correll, not Cornell. Correll with the basketball over to Taylor at left wing. Cross court over to Kroll. Three-point shot right wing. In and out. No good. Rebound Rice. Rice crosses over. Slows down a little bit. Feeds it ahead to Hutcherson. She crosses half court. Over the timeline. Left wing over to Winter. Winter looking upside. Gives it to McCracken up top of the key. McCracken back over to Rice. So now it's Hutcherson, Rice, Winter, Coombs, and McCracken in the game for the Lady Indians. Bad pass by McCracken way over the head of Coombs. Cornell with the rebound. She goes all the way to the rim, tries to feed it inside into traffic, kick out to Kroll. Now to Kroll back over to Correll, back to Kroll, up top to Taylor. 9-1, Indians lead by 8, 1:35 left to go in the first. Now Badeau, bad pass inside, stolen away by Hutcherson. Watrick and O'Brien back at the scores table, I believe, for the Indians. Winter over to Hutcherson. Up top, over right wing to Rice. Cross-court pass to Winter. A couple ball fakes by her. Gives it back to McCracken. Back to Winter, down to baseline on the left side. Cross-court pass to Rice. Rice gets it poked away by Taylor. Ball's loose on the floor. Taylor on the breakaway. Layup. Good. 9-3. Indians up by 6. 53 seconds left to go here in the first quarter. McCracken with the basketball. Feeds it to Hutcherson. She's going to be double teamed down there. And that's going to be out on the Vikings. It'll stay with the Indians. As O'Brien and Watrick check back into the game for Rice and Winter. Sydney Rice getting her first break of the game. It's going to be a short break here with 43.5 left to go here in the first. Watrick back over to McCracken. Up top to O'Brien. Over to Hutcherson. Up to Coombs, top of the key. Coombs to the left wing to Watrick. Watrick looks inside. Now she's going to be fouled on the floor. She's going to be fouled by Taylor. Second team foul on the Vikings. First on Taylor. 26 seconds left to go here in the first quarter. Feedback into Watrick. 9-3. Lady Indians lead by 6. Watrick over to McCracken. Looks inside. Now kicks back out to Watrick. 15 seconds left. Looking inside. Lob into O'Brien. She gets it. She's going to be fouled on the floor. It's going to be Indians' ball under their own basket. 11 seconds left to go here in the first. Tough feed inside, but a good feed by Watrick into O'Brien on the lob. Indians have 11 seconds to try to make something happen. Back to the corner to Hutcherson. 6 seconds left. O'Brien into the lane. Tough shot by her. No good. Rebound Vikings. And that's the end of the first quarter. The score is 9-3 after one. We'll be back after this 1 minute timeout. Let's St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Yeah, welcome back as we start the second quarter. Lady Indians lead by 6, 9-3. We're going to have possession of the basketball to start this second quarter. Out top to O'Brien, over to McCracken at left wing. McCracken dribbles around, swings it, reverses it back to O'Brien. Now the corner to Watrick. 3-point shot from the baseline. Good. Taylor Watrick connects from the left baseline. Gives the Indians a 12-3 lead. Corral over Taylor to Kroll. Kroll with the basketball above the timeline. Gives it to Corral. Corral guarded by Watrick. Now to Taylor. Taylor guarded by O'Brien. Tough matchup for her. Taylor very quick with the basketball. Corral up top to Kroll. She drives against Winter. Kicks it out to Hicks. Now to Taylor. Taylor to the baseline. Feed inside to Kroll. Good feed inside as Kroll scores in front of the rim. Taylor likes to flirt with that baseline as she drove that baseline twice. Just inches away from out of bounds. Watrick feeds back up top to O'Brien. 12-5. Indians up by 7. Hutcherson with the basketball. Drives inside. Bounce pass outside to Winter. Winter feeds it back up top to Watrick. Watrick over to McCracken. Looks inside for an instant. Gives it back out to Watrick as they reset against this 2-1-2 or 2-3 zone. As Watrick to the corner to McCracken, sets her feet, 3-point shot. Ooh, look good. I thought that was all but through, and it went long. Excuse me, because that looked like from here it was going right through the net. One of them optical illusions as it went long, and it's out on the Indians and goes back to the Vikings. 6:33 left to go here in the first, 12-5. Indians up by 7. 6:30 left to go here in this first half, second quarter. Taylor with the basketball to Corral. The Vikings not very deep, not very many subs. Bador is the only sub that's come into the game so far for the Lady Vikings. Bador over to Taylor, guarded by Rice, who's back in the game. So feed cross court, now bounce pass to Corral. Man-to-man defense applied by the Lady Indians. Taylor holds the ball left wing. Screen set by Bador. Taylor goes into the lane, shot in front of the rim. She's going to be fouled. As Taylor likes to go to that basket, the Indians going to have to help. Second team foul on the Lady Indians, first on Rice. Taylor will go to the line to shoot 2. 5:56 left to go in the second. Nina Taylor settles in for her first. It's on its way and right through there. Taylor, a junior, as number 20 checks back into the game. McGlory, the 5'8" junior. So right now it's Coombs, Hutcherson, O'Brien, Rice, and Wattrick in the game for the Lady Indians. Taylor settles in for her second. It's on its way and good. So she's 3 for 4 from the free throw line, and the Indians' lead is cut to 5, 12-7. 5:52 left to go in the second quarter. A little extended zone full court pressure by the Vikings. They stay out above that free throw line, so the area around the free throw line could be open for the Lady Indians if they get it down here fast enough. Wattrick with the basketball, right wing over to Coombs. Coombs back up top to Rice. Rice over to Wattrick. Wattrick with a couple ball fakes back up top to Rice, over to O'Brien. Now to Rice. Rice with a couple ball fakes, out to Hutcherson. Hutcherson into a lot of traffic. Tough bounce pass inside. Tried for O'Brien. It's going to be off of the Vikings. It'll stay with the Lady Indians. The Lady Indians basketball under their own rim. This packed-in zone. Got the Indians being very patient. Feed inside to O'Brien. Tough turnaround shot by her. High off the rim. No good. Rice comes out there with it. Feeds it back at Hutcherson. Into O'Brien again. Turnaround shot in front of the rim. No good. Tipped around. Chased down by Rice. A good job, good hustle by the Lady Indians on the boards as Rice resets the offense. O'Brien with 2 or 3 tough shots in the lane against that zone. A lot of traffic in there, just can't quite get him to go. Good feeds inside to her. Rice up above the timeline. 4:45 left to go in the first. Now O'Brien again on the inside. Tough shot, no call.
No call.
She didn't even come close to hitting the rim. Had to have people draped on her arms. Correll all the way towards the rim. She gets it stripped away by Hutcherson. Hutcherson feeds it ahead to Rice, and she's going to be fouled by Taylor. That's going to be her second. 4th team foul on the Vikings. We'll have to see.
Call that on 20.
Oh, they did call that on 24.
Called on Kroll.
Huh. Okay. Was she even close?
I didn't think she was close. But
Kroll got the foul. I think Kroll's got her arms out the air like, how is that on me? But either way, first foul on Kroll, still 14 foul. Coombs with a couple ball fakes. Shot off the rim. Good job by Coombs. Off the backboard on the right block. 14-7. Lady Indians up by 7. 4 minutes left to go here in the second. Taylor over to Kroll. Kroll guarded out there by Coombs. Back to Taylor as Rice sags off of her just a bit. Honoring that good penetration into the lane that she's done a couple times. Taylor, good ball handler. She crosses over. The ball's on the floor as Rice knocks it loose. Ooh, that is late call. And they're going to call that on Rice. That ball was loose, and Hutcherson had a hold up before he finally decided to blow the whistle. That's the second on Rice. Good hands by her. Good hustle. As she picks up her second 13 foul on the Lady Indians, so Rice has to come out of the game. So now it's McCracken, O'Brien, Coombs, Wattrick, and Hutcherson in the game for the Lady Indians. Kroll out top with the basketball. Hands off to Taylor. Gets popped loose again. Taylor recovers. Crosses over in front of the rim. Shot short, no good. Kroll knocks it back out, and the Vikings reset. Correll with a long three-pointer, no good. And that's going to be slapped by Kroll. It should be out on her as it goes to the Lady Indians. And boy, Coach Tuck is about as animated in this game in the first half as I've ever seen.
That's right.
Because he's really into the game, coaching the girls up on defense especially. Not happy that the Vikings had so many opportunities with the basketball. Almost a turnover by Hutcherson. McCracken goes after it, resets with Wattrick over to Hutcherson. She looks inside for Coombs. Now she dribbles out top. Bounce pass over to McCracken, left wing. Cross pass now up top to O'Brien. Feed inside to Coombs. Coombs in front of the rim. Ooh, in and out, no good. That was all but down and rolled back out. Rebound is Taylor for the Vikings. Correll with the basketball over to Kroll. 14-7, 7-point lead for the Lady Indians. Now back to Correll, right wing, guarded by Wattrick. Badeau with the basketball. Top of the key, dribbles to her left, gives it to Taylor. Taylor into the lane, tough shot, and she gets the call again as O'Brien can't get the call on the basket a little bit ago, but Taylor's gotten a call every time she's went to the rim.
She's
so
going
foul.
in there aggressive and hard, just like O'Brien.
So she'll go to the line to shoot 2. As she settles in for a first. 2:27 left to go here in the second quarter. 14-7. Now it's in and out. Still stays 14-7. As that was about halfway down and spun back out. Taylor settles in for her second. Up on its way and right through there. 6-point lead for the Lady Indians. Has been as many as 9. Watrick with the basketball. Now McCracken, she penetrates, gets it poked away for a minute, and now it's a jump ball, and that's going to be a possession arrow to the Vikings, so that's a turnover. 2:16 left to go in the first half. 14-8. Lady Indians up by 6. Vikings with the basketball. Carell with the basketball. Way up high, up above the timeline. Now Taylor with it. 3-point shot by Taylor. In and out, no good. Rebound Coombs. Her outside shot for Taylor. No pressure by Correll. Watrick breaks the pressure. Now a lot of pressure by her. Gets it off to O'Brien. O'Brien back to Watrick. Over to the corner to O'Brien. Sets her feet. 3-pointer left baseline. Good! Caitlin O'Brien drains a 3, gets on the board for the first time tonight.
They ran that play just like it was designed to be run. Got O'Brien open in the corner for the 3.
Correll up to Taylor. Taylor penetrates into the lane. Floater on the way. Good. She gets the floater to go. Gets past O'Brien. Rice quickness on the bench with 2 fouls here for the last minute 19. 17-10. 7-point lead for the Lady Indians. Trapped by the Vikings. Over to McCracken at right wing. Cross-court pass.
Oh,
no, almost a stolen pass. Back to McCracken. McCracken up top to O'Brien. Indians being very patient here with under a minute left to go in the first. O'Brien loses it for a minute, feeds it back up top to Watrick. Indians flirting real close with that half-court line on a couple passes. Good pass inside. O'Brien to Coombs, cutting to the basket, and she converts on the block. Good job. Good eyes by O'Brien to spot Coombs cutting to the basket wide open, and Katie Coombs converts. So give the assist to O'Brien. Hicks with the basketball, guarded by Hutcherson for the Vikings. 30 seconds left to go in the first. Taylor penetrates, crosses over right in front of the rim, and they're going to give her another foul as she's one goes into the lane and gets the contact. So another foul on the penetration by Taylor, and she's going to go line to shoot 2.
They call that one on Katie Coombs. That's her first.
And not that she's getting fouled, don't get me wrong, but she goes to the basket hard. Lady Indians got to step and help a little bit, get position, as Taylor will go to the line with 24.7 left in the second quarter. She rattles the first one home. That's the lead to 8, 19-11. Taylor very quick off the dribble going to the basket for the Vikings.
Taylor shot 7 free throws so far here in the first half. She's 5 of 7.
Shows how many times she's been into the lane. As she shoots her second, it rattles home and it's good. Indians with plenty of time here. Needs to take about 24 seconds to score. 19-12, up by 7. Now a little extended trap. Cross-court pass over to Hutcherson. And a feed inside to O'Brien's lost, but she feeds it back out to Watrick. Watrick penetrates, kicks it out to McCracken. 3-point shot, she's fouled, so she'll go to the line to shoot 3. I kind of seen that coming from Badeau as she went out there to try to block that shot. So she'll go to the line to shoot 3. 10.2 seconds left to go here in the first half. Indians trying to extend their lead as McCracken makes the first. Indians back up by 8. The winner at the scores table, she's going to have to wait until McCracken shoots her second of 3. Second on its way, in and out, no good, as winner re-enters the game. 10 seconds left. Indians want to make sure, you can kind of imagine what's going to happen here with 10.2. Do you want to guess, Mike?
Yeah, she's going to drive the lane.
Taylor's going to drive into the lane. Need to have some help. Set your feet. Try to draw a charge here. McCracken's third free throw is good, so 2 out of 3, 21. 9-point lead. Farrell with the basketball. She may be the one to penetrate into the lane. Feeds it back to Taylor. Long 3-point shot. Top of the key. Good. Taylor shows her range. And it's 21-15 and back to a 6-point lead for the Lady Indians at halftime. We'll be back after this 2-minute timeout. It's St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Welcome back to Lansing Classic, second round game between the Lady Indians and Lady Vikings. Lady Indians lead 21-15 here at halftime. Pretty good first half put together by the Lady Indians, shooting a lot better from the outside, Mike.
Yeah, that's really helped them a lot to be able to open the field up and shoot from the outside as well as move the ball inside. A couple nice feeds there from Caitlin O'Brien into Katie Coombs, and Caitlin O'Brien also working on the inside. Then you got some shots falling from the outside with Taylor Wattrick nailing a three outside, doing pretty good work from the free throw line. Overall, pretty good first half by the Lady Indians on the defensive side with their man-to-man defense. They're doing a pretty good job containing Parsons other than Taylor driving the lane, you know, and several times down the floor, and she's really pushing in there hard, drawing some fouls. And so other than that, that man defense has stifled Parsons pretty well.
Yeah, it's pretty much been a one-lady show for the Lady
Sure
Vikings as Nina Taylor has 13 of the Vikings' 15 points here in this first half as the Viking men warm up here. They're going to play Pierce City right after this on the winter side of the bracket. And the Indian boys will have to move over to the other gym, and they are going to play Columbus. So we'll see how that turns out. But a very good game here with the girls going on, 21-15. Lady Indians shooting pretty good from the outside, shooting 43% from the field, 36% oddly enough. Here's the odd part, 36% from two-point land, 60% from three-point land.
Yeah, so that's good to see that.
Shooting a lot better from threes and 80% from the free throw line. Only been to the free throw line 5 times, but 4 out of 5 from the line. Well, that might go over complete stats after we come back from this next 2-minute timeout. You're listening to St. Paul Indian basketball on Hot 105.
back in, I'll just start it. Welcome back to Southeast High School in Cherokee, Kansas, here at the Lancer Classic. St. Paul Lady Indians with a 21-15 lead over the Lady Vikings from Parsons in the Lancer Classic. Mike McCracken along with Dan Vitt here at the halftime show. Dan took a short break here. I'll go ahead and go over the first half stats for the Lady Indians. Scoring spread around fairly evenly for the Lady Indians. Katie Coombs, Emily Winter, and Sydney McCracken, all three had 4 points for the Lady Indians. That's high score, tied for between the three of them. Coombs and Winter did their scoring from the field, both mainly underneath the basket, while Sydney McCracken with her 4 points, all 4 points coming from the free throw line, where she is 4 out of 5 from the free throw line. So consistent free throw shooting with some good play underneath. Other than that, Taylor Watrick also had some points on the board. She had a three-pointer. She was 1 out of 2 from three-point land for St. Paul. St. Paul, like Dan said, 41% from the field, 60% from outside the three-point line, 80% from the free throw line. They did commit 5 turnovers. However, the man defense caused 6 turnovers for Parsons. Looking at Parsons' stats, not hard to figure out where their scoring's coming from. It's all Taylor, who has 13 of the 15 points for Parsons. She's also 6 of 8 from the free throw line in the first half. So if they can figure out a way to control Taylor on the scoring, keep up what they're doing with the consistent offense and good man defense, they're going to have a pretty good second half hopefully here to close out this game, Dan.
2:11 left to go here in halftime. I want to thank everybody for joining us for our St. Paul Tire and Lube halftime show. I want to thank our title sponsor, Farmers Bank of Kansas, in the second half. When we start our second half, it'll be brought to you by Styles Fitness and More in our tip-off sponsor. Stick around and listen to our KW Trucking postgame show and be patient with us because the boys play in the other gym, so we're going to have to pick up and move to the other gym. So right after this game's over, win or lose, we'll hurry up and hustle up and move, and then hopefully we can resume with the postgame show, KW Trucking postgame show, go over all the Lady Indian stats before we get started on the boys game, and then roll right into the to our Richie's Pharmacy pregame show before the boys game. We'll see how that works. It's going to depend on how the game that's going on in the other gym right now, where it's at. This is a pretty fast-paced game here, it seemed like. Only about 5 or 10 team fouls total called on each team, total on both teams. So not a lot of fouls called here in the first half. That zone defense applied by Parsons, kind of a sag 2-3 zone. The Indians moving the ball around well, developing shots and shooting pretty good from the outside. So working hard on the rebounds, playing their own typical man-to-man. Rice spent the last 3 minutes of that second quarter on the bench picking up her second foul. It'll make a difference, if she is on Taylor. She's definitely the one quick enough to guard Taylor and try to slow her down here in this second half of the Vikings that we get set for the tip-off here in the second half.
Yeah, we'll see how it's going to go there in the lane. That's going to tell the tale when Taylor drives the lane like that. Like you said, Sydney Rice got the quickness to step in there and take care of her. However, I think that's how she drew both of her 2 fouls in the first half, was trying to defend Taylor as she drove the lane. So it'll be up to Sydney to play a smart game there, not get herself too deep into foul trouble here in the second half.
See what the Coach Tuck adjustments made here at halftime. Really very animated in this game. Usually Coach Tuck pretty laid back. I mean, Coach Tuck's record over the years has spoken for itself. Very, very good coach, but very animated, trying to keep his girls fired up here back-to-back, or excuse me, not back-to-back games, but Parsons in back-to-back games. We'll see if that conditioning becomes a factor too, Mike, because only 6-person rotation for the Lady Vikings.
Yeah, it's a 6-person rotation. They just played last night. St. Paul had the night off last night, played on Wednesday in the opener for this tournament, so could be an advantage St. Paul in that department just by the fact that they didn't have to come back and play the next day.
Now, not a lot of difference with the Lady Indians. 7-person rotation. Carter did not get in that first half, but she does a lot of the times as a young freshman. So up to an 8-person rotation as we start the second half. O'Brien into Winter. Winter into the lane, kicks back to Hutcherson. She's in front of the rim. Floater on the way, and it rolls off the rim. No good. Tapped, goes out of bounds, and I don't know who that was off of. And they're going to give it to the Indians off of the Vikings. So it'll stay with the Lady Indians. They lead by 6, 21-15. Hutcherson with a good look at the rim, just couldn't get it quite to go. All the way around. Taylor almost with the steal. It's out on her. It'll stay with the Lady Indians. See if the Vikings extend this zone pressure as the Indians work the ball around the outside. They feed it into Rice. Rice above the timeline. Just underway here in the second half. I want to thank everybody for listening to our St. Paul Tire and Lube halftime show. Rice at right wing with it, behind the back dribble, back over to Hutcherson. Up top to Watrick. Down to the corner to Hutcherson. Hutcherson, a couple ball fakes up to Rice. Rice had a look at a three, but didn't take it. Feed inside to Winter. Winter back out to Watrick. Sets her feet, three-pointer by Watrick. Off the rim, no good. O'Brien with the rebound, put back, good. Good work on the boards by Caitlin O'Brien. 23-15, 8-point lead for the Indians. Correll with the basketball. Picked up out here by Watrick. O'Brien's going to stay on, get almost a steal. O'Brien's going to stay on Taylor to start this third quarter. Correll with the basketball. Feeds it up top to Hicks. She's guarded by Hutcherson. Now back to Taylor. Three-pointer by Taylor. Off the rim, no good. Rebound fought for and brought down by Watrick. It was Watrick and Rice. Both two Lady Indians almost tapped it away from each other. Back to Rice. Rice, top of the key, bounce pass over to O'Brien. Looks inside, runs into traffic, feeds it back to Hutcherson, out to Watrick. I thought it was a whistle.
I thought I heard a whistle too.
It was the shoes squeaking. Rice, shot blocked in front of the rim. Taylor streaking down the floor, all the way to the rim. Euro step, no good on the layup. Winner with the rebound. Rice pushes the ball back down the floor for the Lady Indians. She runs into traffic, a block on Kroll, and Rice is going to go to the line to shoot two. Good hustle by Sydney Rice, pushing that basketball back down the floor.
That's the difference Sydney Rice makes. She gets in there and she's so fast and so quick into the lane. Makes a big difference.
Rice's first free throws right through there and good. 24-15, 9-point lead for the Lady Indians. Rice settles in for a second. It's on its way. Will short. No good. O'Brien chases it down for the Lady Indians. Feeds it back out to Watrick, and they reset over to Rice. So Indians with an opportunity here. Hutcherson over to O'Brien. O'Brien drives the baseline, and she's going to get tripped up and ends up on the floor. She's going to be fouled by, I'm not sure if it's McGlory or Kroll. And it's going to be Kroll. I think her third. So she's going to have to come in out of the game as Bedore checks back in for Kroll, as Kroll's just picked up her second team foul on the Lady Vikings. Feed out top to O'Brien. Sets her feet. Three-pointer top of the key. Short. No good. Watrick with the rebound. She dribbles back out. Feeds it over to Hutcherson. Hutcherson into the lane. And a lot of traffic. Floater in front. No good. Rebound. Winner. Winner's going to get tied up. Now it's going to be stripped away by Bedore. Now Correll with the ball. She streaks down the floor. Watrick's down there. Layup. Good. Here comes the trap. 24-17. 7-point lead for the Indians. Bounce pass to Hutcherson in the corner. Back to Watrick. And Watrick's going to travel with the basketball on the cutter. Turnover on the Lady Indians, gives it back to the Vikings. 5:18 left to go in the third. 24-17, Lady Indians up by 7. Taylor back to Carell. Carell at right wing, below the timeline. Now Carell top of the key with the basketball. Indians sagging into the lane a little bit, going to try to help if Taylor drives to the basket. Carell, top of the key, gives Wadrick, feeds it off to Taylor. Taylor's guarded by O'Brien, now screen set. Taylor shot, two-pointer, in and out, no good. O'Brien with the rebound. O'Brien, feed inside to Winter, tough pass, good. Good pass, a good layup on from the left block. Angled pass, clear across the lane. Now Taylor to the lane. Oh my gosh.
Put his shoulder right into
clears
her.
to the ground and no call either way. And she gets it to go. Taylor gets it to go. So 26-19, 7-point lead for the Indians. Steele, feed ahead by Carell. Carell on the breakaway. Layup good. So all of a sudden it's a 5-point ball game. Back-to-back scores by the Vikings. Got the Indians down to a 5-point lead. Timeout. Who's the timeout taken by?
St. Paul.
By St. Paul. 30-second. We'll go ahead and stay here. 4 minutes left to go in the third. 26-21. Indians up by 5, but back-to-back buckets by the Vikings.
A lot of contact driving down into the lane there on the Parsons end. And sometimes you wonder how you can drive in so hard, have so much contact on one end of the floor, nothing gets called. On the other end of the floor, you get a hard drive through the lane and you're getting called just for reaching in. Sometimes it's difficult to see. We can't see probably the same thing as what you can see when you're standing right next to it on the floor, but this sometimes makes you scratch your head a little bit.
You can make your own call on the live stream, but Taylor went flying in.
Sure
her
did.
Shoulder lit right in the chest of O'Brien, knocked her flat on the ground. There wasn't a call either way. I guess they just decided.
Well, yeah, I guess
it
called a
wasn't one
draw.
way or another. Either way, Indians basketball, so they're going to have to take care of the basketball here as the Vikings making a little bit of a run here. Rice with the basketball. Carell almost strips her of it. Now dead ball. O'Brien with it. Guarded by Taylor. Gives it back to Rice. A lot more aggressive. Rice to the basket. No good. Rebound. Now the ball's loose on the floor. And it's going to be a jump ball. Possession arrow is going to go to the Vikings. So it'll be Vikings basketball. Indians cling to a 5-point lead here. Vikings with momentum in the last minute or so of this game.
Feels like a lot faster tempo, too, to the game now.
A lot more aggressive defense applied by out of that zone, that 2-3 zone by the Vikings. Taylor with the basketball for the Vikings. Feeds it to Carell. Carell over to Hicks. Hicks guarded by McCracken, who's in the game. Feed back to Taylor. Cross-court pass to Carell. Now down to the corner, Taylor, three-point shot, left baseline, short, no good. Rebound O'Brien. Boy, now there are two referees standing about 3 feet from him. Nobody calls anything. Now one finally blows the whistle as O'Brien ended up on the floor. That's going to be a foul on the Vikings. It's going to be on Taylor.
Taylor's second,
Her
I believe.
second, team foul number 3 on the Vikings. Now full court press applied by the Vikings. Coach Tuck hollering clear
Trying to get him
out
to
to the
clear
rest
out.
of the team so Wadrick can bring the ball down the floor. She does. Gets it to O'Brien, right wing. O'Brien looks inside for a minute. Now back cut to McCracken. Boy, she hacked on the arm. Rebound Coombs, and she's going to be fouled. McCracken had that shot partially blocked. Must have been on the ball. Sounds like I'm whining a lot here, doesn't it, Mike?
Nope.
It looked to me like it was all over her
No, I
arm.
wouldn't call it whining.
2:54 left to go in the third. 5-point lead for the Lady Indians as Coombs goes to the line to shoot 2. First free throw on the way. In and out, no good. Rims out as Hutcherson checks back into the game for Rice. Coombs settles in for her second, and it's good. So back up to a 6-point lead for the Lady Indians. Carell right back down with the basketball. Wadrick on her. Back to Taylor, over to Badeau. Badeau up to Carell, guarded by Wadrick. Back to Badeau at left wing. Up top to Taylor, top of the key. Now she's going to drive towards the rim. Knocks O'Brien down again. Hicks three-point shot, no good. Rebound Wadrick.
Gee whiz, they're all over.
Now they're going to call a jump ball.
Oh, my.
And the possession arrow goes back to the possession arrow goes to the Indians. A lot of hands in there for the Vikings.
They've got to move.
McCracken gives it back to Watrick
Got to push up the floor.
as they clear out and let Watrick bring the ball up against Hicks. All the way in towards the rim, kicks it back out to Hutcherson. Hutcherson over to McCracken. McCracken tries to get it in, and it's going to be out on the Vikings and stay with the Lady Indians. Emily Winter checks back in at the scores table. Is going to check in for Sydney McCracken. Hutcherson with the basketball. Feeds it into Watrick. She guarded by Hicks. Watrick above the timeline. Bounce pass over to Hutcherson. Now Correll all over her. Coombs out to O'Brien. O'Brien into the lane. Euro step. No good. They're going to call travel on the Euro step.
Maybe you hadn't seen one of those before.
They don't ever call that anymore.
No.
In the last 3 years, they haven't. 27-21, 6-point lead for the Lady Indians. 1:55 left to go in the third. Correll with the basketball up top above the timeline over to Taylor. Taylor with the basketball guarded by O'Brien. Now Correll with the ball. Correll crosses over. Step back three-pointer by her. Short, no good. Watrick with the rebound. Watrick pushes hard. Bounce pass over to Hutcherson. Hutcherson's shot, no good, but she's going to go to the line and shoot two. Good bounce pass cross court from Watrick over to Hutcherson on the fast break attempt. 5th team foul on the Lady Vikings. 3rd on Badeau for the Vikings. Brianna Badeau, a 5'10 junior. Hutcherson's first free throw off, no good. 1:28 left to go in the third. 6-point lead for the Lady Indians, 27-21. As Kroll checks back in, she has 3 fouls. She's going to have to be careful here. Her and Badeau. Oh, was that foul out on?
I don't know who it was
No.
on. They've got it marked on 23.
Now they got it Correll. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It looked
Had
like
me confused too.
had 3 on Badeau. I think that's why he subbed for. As Hutcherson makes her second. So 28-21, 7-point lead for the Lady Indians. Correll with the basketball over to Taylor. Taylor guarded by O'Brien. Cross court pass to Correll. Up top to Hicks. Back to Taylor. Taylor looks inside for Kroll as Winter reverses Fields and fronts her. Now she's back behind her. Correll bounce pass. Stolen away by Winter. Kroll has to retreat and not try to pick up a 4th foul. Correll, or crossover by Watrick. A tough bounce pass inside. Ball's on the floor. Coombs comes out there with it. And she tries to give it out to Hutcherson. Ball's on the floor again. Hutcherson comes out there with it. She drives the baseline. She's triple teamed. Good step through by Coombs. No good, but she's going to get fouled on the floor, they're going to call it. So it's going to be Indians basketball under our own basket. Boy, that was an ugly possession by the Lady Indians.
It'd be tough to play this game.
Ball was all over the place on the floor. Lady Indians kept coming back up with it. And Watrick feeds it into O'Brien. 15-footer on the way. No good. Watrick fights for it. It's going to be brought down by Taylor for the Vikings. 35 seconds left to go here in the third. Taylor with the basketball above the timeline. Feeds it to Hicks. Hicks back to Correll.
By the way, that was Kroll's 4th foul. They called it on Kroll.
That is Kroll's 4th foul. She's still in the game. Now off to Kroll. 16 seconds, 15. Deny her the ball. Caitlin. Correll with the basketball. She drives into the lane. Back behind the back pass. Saved in to Kroll. Now back to Taylor. 3-point shot. No good. 3 seconds left. Out of bounds. It's going to be the Indians basketball with 1.5 seconds left here in the third. As Badeau now checks in for Kroll. 2.5 left. As Watrick looking finally gets it in to O'Brien. And now surely the clock would start sometime. In the long second
Took 3
half.
seconds to go second half.
At the end of 3, 28-21. The Indians up by 7. We'll be back after this 1-minute timeout. Let's St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. welcome back to the Lancer Classic. It's going to be Vikings basketball to start the fourth quarter. Indians lead 28-21, up by 7 here to start the fourth. 16 fouls on the Vikings, none on the Indians yet in this half. McGlory in the game for the Vikings. Hicks to the quarter to Correll. Back up top to Kroll, who's in the game playing with 4 fouls. Now to McGlory. Back up top to Taylor. Taylor guarded by O'Brien. Now back to McGlory. Left wing. Back up top to Taylor. She drives in the lane. Euro step's going to be on the floor, and that's going to be on O'Brien. It's going to be Vikings basketball. Indians need to sag a little bit more so they can step and help O'Brien. And that's going to be the first on Caitlin O'Brien. Out to Correll. Just underway here in the fourth. Indians up by 7. Three-pointer by Taylor. Short, no good. Fought for underneath. Winter comes out there with it. And it's going to be a travel on Winter as she ends up on the floor after she gets the rebound. They're just letting a lot of contact go underneath the rim. The Vikings all over the rebounders for the Lady Indians. And they're not calling no hand checking. Correll, three-pointer, left wing, off long. Rice with the rebound. Rice streaks back down the floor, behind the back dribble, goes to the top of the key, swings it over to Watrick. Watrick to O'Brien, now over to Winter. Winter guarded closely by Correll. Bounce pass back up top to Rice, over to Coombs at right wing. Coombs up top to Watrick. Indians being very patient, over to O'Brien at left wing. O'Brien drives the baseline, and she's going to be fouled on the floor. She's going to go to the line and shoot the front end of a 1-and-1. That is going to be on Taylor.
Be her third.
Third on her. As the Indians go to the line to shoot the front end of a 1-and-1. O'Brien to the line to shoot that front end. She settles into the line. Her first one's on the way. Rattles in. Not as pretty as normal, but it got over the rim and crawled in there. 29-21, 8-point lead for the Lady Indians. 6:57 left to go in the game. And she makes the second. Back up to a 9-point lead for the Lady Indians. Correll with the basketball. Feeds it to Taylor, over to Kroll. Back up top to Correll. Correll above the timeline for the Vikings. As Coach Kroll sets his offense, the Vikings on the offensive end right in front of Coach Kroll. Correll, a couple ball fakes against Watrick behind the back dribble. Now she's double teamed down there, gets it back out to Taylor. Taylor is going to be fouled on the floor by Rice, her third. Second team foul on the Indians. As Vikings basketball under their own rim. Second team foul on the Lady Indians, third on Rice, so she needs to be careful here. Try to pass inside. Winter comes out there with it. Good job by her on the inbounder. She picks up her dribble and feeds it back to Watrick. Good job on the inbounders. Winter tapped that up in the air and come down with it. 6:13 left to go in the game. Indians up by 9. Correll with the basketball. Correll on Watrick. Watrick gets it off to Winter. Winter picks up her dribble. Bounce pass inside to O'Brien. Now to Coombs. Coombs layup good. Good ball movement by the Indians. Good eyes by O'Brien to spot Coombs on the right block. 11-point lead for the Lady Indians. Biggest lead of the game for them. Taylor timeout. Coach Kroll not happy with the offensive set the last 2 times down the floor. Full timeout. We'll be back after this 1-minute timeout. This is St. Paul Indian basketball on Hot 105. Timeout sponsor brought to you by St. Paul Supermarket. Vikings timeout. Lady Indians lead 32-21. 5:43 left to go in the game. Coach Kroll with a timeout trying to get his offense set. Carell with the basketball for the Vikings. Feeds it off to Taylor. Taylor to Kroll. Kroll's guarded by Winter as they try to run this motion offense. And that's going to be out. Ooh. Whoa. It looked like that was off of Cornell's head. Maybe it was the ref's head. Carell's head. Feedback into Carell. Out on the Indians. Carell back to Taylor. Taylor to Kroll. Kroll top of the key. Dribbles to the right. Feeds it back to Carell. They look inside for Taylor. Now get it to her at the elbow. She's going to take a three-pointer top of the key. Off. No good. Rebound fought for by Winter. She comes out there with it. Feeds it out to Watcher. Good work on the boards. Good game by Emily Winter put together so far here tonight. Not really, maybe not the leading scorer, but she's working hard on the rebound.
Score, yep.
O'Brien with the basketball. She drives the rim, wide open layup, short, no good. Rebound Taylor for the Vikings. All the way to the rim she goes. She's going to be fouled and get the bucket. And that may have been Rice's fourth foul. Yep. And that is Rice's fourth foul with 4:50 left to go in the game. Gets the Indians lead to 9. As Hutcherson is going to come in for Rice. Taylor tries to complete the three-point leg. A rare miss by Caitlin O'Brien. She stands free throw line, shaking her head. Can't believe she missed it. Rare miss bunny shot by her. Good break to the lane, wide open. Another timeout by Coach Kroll. We'll see what this is. We'll go ahead and take a 30-second timeout. You're listening to St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Welcome back. That timeout brought to you by St. Paul Supermarket. 32-24, 8-point lead for the Lady Indians. It was 11, but Taylor just completed old-fashioned three-point play as now the Vikings will set up in a press to see how the Indians handle this with Sydney Rice on the bench. This is a different look on the press for the Vikings. To the corner to Watrick as the Vikings look to get a double team to Hutcherson. Back to Watrick. Watrick left-hand dribble, picks up her dribble. Now she's going to be trapped out there and she's going to be fouled on the floor. That's going to send Watrick to the line to shoot the front end of the 1-1. 8th team foul on the Vikings. So the Indians going to have to make some free throws with this lead. Front end of the 1-1. 4th foul. Or that's still Rice.
Yeah, it's on 23, Carell.
Carell with her second. Watrick's first free throw off the rim, no good. Rebound Taylor for the Vikings. She pushes the ball down. Nobody really stops her. Into the lane she goes.
That's
going to be a charge on Taylor this time. That's a third down. O'Brien has ended up on the floor, and that's a first whistle they've had the whole time, so player control.
That's a 4th foul on Taylor as well.
4th foul, 9th team foul on the player control. No free throws, but Indians basketball here with 8-point lead. 4:30 left to go here in the ballgame. Watrick with the basketball. Indians going to have to get it across here. O'Brien gets it stripped away from Taylor. Taylor on the breakaway. Layup good. Down to a 6-point lead for the Lady Indians. Watrick with the basketball. See how long Coach Tuck leaves Rice on the bench. Cross-court pass to Hutcherson. She needs to cross. She does. Now she's going to be tapped. She gets it into O'Brien. Bounce pass to Coombs. Little jump shot from the baseline. Long. No good. Winter fights for it. Watrick comes out there with it. Good rebounding by the Lady Indians. Watrick over to O'Brien. 6-point lead for the Lady Indians. 3:50 left to go in the game. To Winter. Indians need to be patient here on this extended pressure, man-to-man, first time tonight by the Vikings as they have to come out in a man-to-man to try to break into this Indian lead, and they have. They're down to 6. It was as many as 11. Watrick gets the ball stripped away by Taylor. Taylor again on a breakaway, all the way down. Layup no good, but she's fouled by Coons. She's going to go line to shoot 2. So which was the 11-point lead could be a 4-point lead for the Lady Indians with 3:27 left to go in the game. Taylor goes to the line to shoot two. 4th team foul on the Indians. 2nd on Coombs. Taylor settles in at the free throw line. Free throw on its way and in there and good.
Taylor 8 of 10 free throws in the game.
32-27, 5-point game as Badeau comes back to scores table for the Vikings. 2nd free throw on its way and in there and good. So now it's a 4-point lead for the Indians. It was 11 with about 5 minutes left to go in this game, so that's just how quickly the game can change. Indians basketball up by 4. 3:26 left to go in the game. Trap applied by the Vikings. Bounce pass almost stolen away by Kroll. Gets it ahead to Winter. Winter drives baseline, pulls back out. Nobody moving for the Indians. Now bounce pass over to Watrick. She's trapped in the corner by Carell. Bounce pass into O'Brien. Shot up good. Tough shot from the left block. 3 minutes left to go in the game. 6-point lead for the Lady Indians. Taylor with the basketball feeds it back up top to Carell. Under 3 minutes left to go in this game. Taylor drives towards the baseline. Bounce pass backside to Kroll. Short on the shot. Rebound. Watrick comes out there with it. Need to push up before they get set up. Watrick slows down against Carell. Feeds it ahead to O'Brien. O'Brien above the timeline with the basketball. 2:30 left to go in the game. 34-28. Indians lead. Watrick with the basketball. 19 fouls on the Vikings. So the next foul will put the Lady Indians in the double bonus. Out to Coombs. Back to Watrick above the timeline. Watrick holds it. Gets it poked away by Carell. Ball's on the floor. Carell, that's a double dribble on Carell. She had the ball poked away from Watrick as Watrick lost it, and she couldn't ever find the handle on it, and ends up with a double dribble. I'm kind of surprised that Coach Tuck hasn't put Rice back into the game yet. 2:10 left to go in the game. Rice on the bench with 4 fouls. Feed ahead to Winter. Winter back to O'Brien. O'Brien drives that baseline. Shot good. Tough
nice
shot by Caitlin O'Brien. But she gets it to go. So Indians back up by 8. 1:55 left to go in the game. Carell with the ball. Taylor wants it as she motions Carell to dribble to her left. Carell still handles the basketball. Left wing. Feeds it out top to Taylor. 3-point shot by Taylor. Good.
They got to cover her up out there. They can't leave her shoot like that.
And that's going to be a timeout by the Vikings. 36-31. 5-point lead for the Indians. 1:33 left to go in the game. We'll go ahead and stay here on this 30-second timeout. This timeout brought to you by St. Paul Supermarket. Well, stick around for our KW Trucking post-game show, but right at the conclusion of this game, we're going to pick up, move to the other gym, and we'll pick up that post-game show just as soon as we get set up in that other gymnasium, and hopefully we'll have cell phone service over there, Mike. We'll see how that all works.
See what happens.
We got a plan. We'll just see if it works. Mike's got a plan.
That's right.
Good ball game here, Mike. 36-31. The Indians have led the whole entire game here, up by as many as 11, as recent as 8 here, and then a 3-pointer by Nina Taylor, a very good player.
Just had time to set up, take the shot, and made it.
O'Brien really honoring that that penetration into the lane, sagged back off of her. And Taylor made her pay that time as Rice back into the ball game for the Lady Indians, playing with 4 fouls. 1:33 left to go in the game. 5-point lead for the Lady Indians. Back to Rice. Count is on. Rice still on this side of half court. Gets it ahead to Watrick. Watrick feeds it to O'Brien, and that's going to be a 10-second call.
They're pretty slow getting that ball up. They have been watching the count. They need to get across the half court line.
So turnover by the Lady Indians. Vikings can cut into this 5-point lead. Carell with the basketball. 1:15 left to go in the game. Carell trying to get it to Taylor, and does. Taylor, 3-point shot. Left wing, or right wing, no good. Badeau, and that's Rice's 5th foul as she fouls Badeau. Badeau's going to go to the line to shoot 2. It is Rice's 5th foul. She's just fouled out of the game. Sydney Rice with a good ball game as Badeau will go to the line to shoot 2. Hutcherson checks into the game for her big hand. As Badeau to the line the first time tonight. She's going to line up to shoot 2. Indians cling to a 5-point lead. 1:07 left to go in the game. First shot on its way. In and out. No good. Good arch on it. Looked like it was headed right through there. Rimmed out. So Indians cling to their 5-point lead. Need to block out here on a miss as Hicks comes back to the score table for the Vikings. Second shot by her on its way and right through there. As this is going to get the Vikings a chance to set up in their press as Kroll comes out, put Hicks back in for defensive purposes. Indians are going to have to be able to handle this pressure for a minute 6.
Ball down the floor.
4-point ball game. Back to O'Brien. O'Brien feeds it ahead to Winter. Winter dribbles out, picks up her dribble now in a little bit of trouble. Feeds it to O'Brien. O'Brien jump shot. Good. Tough shot by O'Brien. Inside the elbow. 45 seconds left to go. 6-point lead for the Indians. Carell with the basketball. Need to tighten up on them. Take away their threes. Carell still dribbles against Watrick. Hands off to Taylor. Taylor's 3-point shot. No good. Rebound Hutcherson. And that's going to be a foul on Taylor. Quick foul on her. That'll send Hutcherson the line to shoot.
Foul too.
And she is just fouled out. Nina Taylor, a heck of a ball player for the Vikings.
Heck of a game for Parsons.
As Kroll checks back into the game, she has 4 also. At this point, that's kind of a moot point with the Indians leading by 6. That's the 10th team foul on the Vikings. That's all important. The Indians will be in the double bonus the rest of the way as Coach Tuck is telling his players to get out of the lane. As Hutcherson lines up to shoot. No Indians in the lane because you don't want to foul. Well, the Indians still have 1 foul to give, so it's not as big a deal. 2 fouls to give. Just 5 team fouls on the Lady Indians, so you can still get in there and fight for a rebound because it's not a shooting foul, but you sure don't want to stop the clock with the lead. 7-point lead for the Indians as Hutcherson made her first free throw and a timeout by the Indians. 30-second timeout, so we'll go ahead and stay here. This timeout brought to you by St. Paul Supermarket. A good ball game, Mike.
Yeah, it's a real good game coming down to the wire here. 30 seconds left with a 7-point lead. Been back and forth up, I think, as much as 11 the Lady Indians were, but due to the play of Taylor for Parsons, she's really taken over. Got a couple of nice 3-point shots driving the lane. Had a lot of offensive production out of her, but overall a lot of good defense too by Parsons. Caused a couple turnovers. St. Paul a couple little mental mistakes that have allowed Parsons to stick around and keep it kind of close here.
And give her a lot of credit. She never stepped foot out of the ball game.
She did not.
As well as Carell has, I think, possibly played the whole way. As Hutcherson lines up to shoot her second free throw as the Indians get squared away on who they're guarding, sticking to their typical man-to-man. So just 5 fouls. So the Indians still be aggressive on defense here. The Vikings off a Kroll, so it'll go back to the Lady Indians with 18.7 left to go and an 8-point lead. So see if the Vikings elect a foul here. They're obviously is going to go for the steal as they feed it into Watrick. Watrick had 2 people hang on her, no call. As Carell finally just grabs a hold of her and makes the referee call a foul. It's going to send O'Brien to the line to shoot 2 in the double bonus. 13.2 seconds left to go in the game, 40-32. Indians lead by 8. So good game put together by the Lady Indians, as Mike said, up by as many as 11. That lead was cut to 4 here just recently. Now back up to 9.